So did you see a Super Bowl team in the Chiefs last night? Is that what you saw? What do you think?
I thought that was what the offense has looked like when it's been right. And, outside of the Raider games, they haven't looked like that for the majority of the year.
Right.
But when Mahomes, the magic is when Mahomes is extending plays, Rich. I mean, every big play was him escaping the pocket, getting away from pressure. And the Chargers had some backups back there, but no excuse. Nobody in the league is covering Tyreek Hill for 5 seconds. Nobody in the league is going to be able to cover Kelsey when he's got that much time to work. Like, that's where the magic happens. And I would say, I've talked about the Chargers missing guys. Obviously, the Chiefs are without, Chris Jones, the second best interior defensive lineman in football, and they're without their number one corner, and Willie Gay is a starting linebacker. So both teams are missing guys. I would just say in that game, you had the stars at the end of the game with those big three on offense. And then, to me, it was one of the best linebacker games from anybody this year that Nick Bolton played, the rookie. He was all over the field. Some of those were on big fourth down stops. He was incredible, man. He kept them in the game. Without Nick Bolton in that game, I think that game could get away from the Chiefs. But man, he was phenomenal. In a year where we've got, the Micah Parsons and the Jamar Chases and the Rashawn Slaters. Like, this dude is playing lights out for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I mean, if I told you right around mid-October, right, when the Chiefs were 3-4 and the Patriots were 2-4, right, or whatever they were, 3-4. Let's say both went 3-4. It could have been the same time. That these are the two teams that are going to be sitting atop the AFC, and one will be the one standing in the way of the other of going to the Super Bowl. What if I told you that then? Because that seems to be the case right now here after the kickoff to Week 15, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have believed you on the Chiefs because I would say, look, Mahomes, they're going to kind of figure things out, and Spagnuolo just has this long track record of the defense getting better as the year goes along. So I think I would have bought it. The one I wouldn't have bought is that with Mac Jones and, kind of a new cast of characters there in New England after what we saw last year, that they would be sitting in the top perch. I don't know that I would have bought that one.
Well, I was at that Halloween game that you were calling in SoFi, and the Patriots, the way that Mac was running the offense and looked so comfortable, and then the team playing so terrific defensively against Herbert, and then the offense taking time off towards the end of a game, sliding out of bounds with 7 minutes. I mean, sliding to stay in bounds with like 7 minutes to go. Situationally brilliant. I thought to myself, this looks like the Belichick Patriots, man. That's what this looks like. And I'm like, I came on the show on November 1st, and I'm like, that's a playoff team I saw in SoFi. And, they haven't lost since then, Daniel.
No,
They're incredible.
And they dominate on special teams. It's not just the kicking and the punting. It's the way they cover kicks. It's Matthew Slater and 3 or 4 other outstanding special teams players that they commit to, even though they might not have a role on either side of the ball. So they're as good as it gets there. Defensively, they're going to be sound, and I think you've seen the additions that they've made in free agency have been outstanding. And then the offense is just like you said. They don't mind drives that end in a kick. That's their formula. Everybody has a little different formula. That's their formula. Field goals and punts, the way their defense and special teams play, those are wins. And Mac Jones has been very consistent at being able to protect the football and make great choices. So that's Patriots football. I mean, my only thing will be once we get into the postseason, I think that gets you. I think that brand of football gets you to the postseason. I think historically, once you get in the postseason, Rich, your quarterback's going to have to make what Tom had to make, which are those 4 or 5, big-time throws to get you through the tournament. And that's still TBD. Mac's been awesome, but that's still TBD if he's going to be able to make those throws that Tom has made for 20 years.
Daniel Jeremiah here on the Rich Eisen Show. The rest of the season, the Cardinals are going to be without DeAndre Hopkins, and they hope to get him back for the playoffs that they should make with a win against the Detroit Lions this weekend. You got the Bucs and the Packers playing lights-out football. The Rams just came up with their best performance in a couple of months, you might have to say, or at least over a month. How do you suss out the NFC that you've got the 49ers playing similar to their Super Bowl season of a couple of years ago, and the Cowboys having their quarterback in a slump, apparently? What do you got for me on the NFC front, DJ?
Well, first of all, Rich, it is so nice to be able to make any type of a prediction right now because of the number of injuries and guys that we've seen with the COVID pop up. Like, you're covered. So no matter what you say, you're going to be covered because there's going to be so many key players that are out in these games. Like, I don't know how you really predict anything successfully. So I just know that you hit it with the Rams and the Niners kind of starting to play their best ball at the right time. I'm a little bit worried about the Cardinals. They've had a fantastic year, but that is a huge piece of their offense. And these kind of got-to-have-it games coming forward without DeAndre Hopkins. So that would concern me a little bit. I think the class of the NFC is the two that you mentioned with Green Bay and with Tampa. And to me, when I look at that potential matchup, which it looks like we're headed towards eventually, I think that the Tampa offensive line, I think, can take over a football game. That would be the difference to me. That's why I'd still put them up there. Obviously, Tom and Aaron, I guess you could say maybe cancel each other out because they're so fantastic. But I do think that Tampa and their offensive line and maybe being able to control the ball a little bit with their run game could be the difference there.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.